Hey, I'm going to slowly go back through the paragraph that was the first draft paragraph, show you things that I think needed to be fixed, and then I'm going to show you the second draft, which you should have a copy of, and show you how I fixed them, so that hopefully this can be a help for you when you are writing your paper this week. Okay, so the topic sentence works for me because it has a nice verb. This picture captures an intimate moment in a young family, and that is what this whole paragraph is going to be about, so that works. The next sentence is, the focal point is a young child's hand which grips the mother's hand. The mother's hand is held by the father's hand. It seems like before I get to focal point, I should have a sentence here that kind of gives a description of the whole picture, and then this young child's hand which grips the mother's hand is held by the father's hand. That seems like it could get leaner and meaner. It's too wordy. And then here we go. The part of the photo that has the most light and is the clearest is the child's hand. Well, when something has the most light and it is the clearest, then that is the focal point. So somehow I have to connect all these things that go together. The light and clarity grow less the further from the child's hand. This to me is kind of awkwardly worded, so I need to fix that. The three joined hands form an organic shape. Well, somehow I need some kind of transition here. What's the connection between the light growing less and the clarity growing less and then seeing an organic shape? Somehow I need to explain that. And then the picture celebrates the profundity of a couple enfolding a new life into their family. This works as a conclusion sentence. It's not repetitive, but it sums up. It's not repetitive of the topic sentence, but it sums up the paragraph. Now right here, for this part, does the paragraph contain an adequate description of the picture? Does it include sufficient examples of the photographer's technique? Well, for sure it doesn't do this. I need to look at that vocabulary list and see how I can smoothly add in more information that talks about his technique. So here I'm going to go to the next draft, and what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to read it out loud. This picture captures an intimate moment in a young family. The artist's choice to create a black and white image creates a simple yet dramatic scene. Photographing from a close range, the photographer frames three hands. A baby's hand clings to the mother's hand, which is held by the father's hand. The clearest and most light-saturated element is the baby's hand, making it the focal point. This indicates that the baby is also the focal point of its parents' love. Beginning with the mother's hand, the light and clarity diminish. The photographer uses contrast to outline the three hands, creating one organic shape that takes up most of the center of the frame. By making the three hands a single shape, the artist emphasizes the miraculous math that makes three individuals one family. Thus, the picture celebrates the profundity of a couple enfolding a new life into their midst. First of all, I want to go back to some of the problems that were in the previous draft, where it seemed like I needed to give a bigger picture of the, instead of starting with the focal point, just kind of give a big picture. And also I needed to include more kind of author technique things, artist technique things. So let me just go through the point of giving a big picture. The artist's choice to create a black and white image creates a simple yet dramatic scene. Okay, that gives me a big picture. And then it points me to the next thing, photographing from a close range. The photographer frames three hands. A baby's hand clings to the mother's hand, which is held by the father's hand. Okay, we're going to stop here. So this is worded a lot leaner and meaner than what I had in the previous draft. I also tried to really focus on technique. So we've got black and white image. Some of these words are in your vocabulary list and some of them aren't. Scene, close range, what the photographer frames. So I'm using some of those words. Now I go from this kind of big picture idea. Now I move to the focal point. The clearest and most light saturated element is the baby's hand, making it the focal point. Now, right here, this is an example of interpretation. This is what the artist has done. He's created this black and white image, close range. It's got three hands in it, and the focal point is the baby's hand. This indicates that the baby is also the focal point of its parents' love. This right here isn't describing the picture, and it's not telling me some kind of technique the artist has done. Instead, it is analyzing or adding some kind of interpretive level. And what that means is, what is the artist trying to communicate through his work? Okay, now we're going to go back to the painting, or excuse me, the photograph. With the mother's hand, the light and clarity diminish. This is a stronger verb than what I had before, which was that awkward grow less, clarity grow less. The photographer uses, here's another contrast, to outline the three hands. So we've got the light of the baby, and as the light diminishes, the photographer uses that contrast between the dark and the lighter area to outline the three hands. There's another one of our technical terms. Creating one organic shape that takes up most of the center of the frame. So here are again terms from your list. Okay, now we're going to move into an interpretive or analytical kind of sentence. By making the three hands a single shape, the artist emphasizes the miraculous math that makes three individuals one family. So here I'm saying, what is the artist trying to communicate through when he creates this organic shape? He's making three different hands make one shape that sort of emphasizes three different individuals who become one family. And then at the end, I had already talked about this. I felt like that this conclusion sentence works. So for your paper, I'm going to ask that you do something very similar, and you can certainly use this if you want to as a mentor text, which you sort of model your writing on. You're free to do that. That's how we learn to write sometimes, is we sort of copy someone else's style. You know how you see people in museums and they're artists and they are copying a master's work. I'm not trying to say I'm a master because I know I'm not. But that is how we learn. We imitate people who are a little bit further down the road, and then eventually we find our own path. So obviously you're not going to be talking about 3 hands. You're going to be talking about a woman and some elephants. But next, what you should do is you should print out the, you need to print out the rubric for your paragraph to see all the things that you need to include. Okay, that's it.